Hello and welcome to another My Aspie Marriage video. I haven't made a video in a little while because I've been unwell, so I'll probably be more sort of quietly spoken, so I apologise in advance for that. And speaking of unwell, this is probably a good time to talk about the differences between how my husband and I handle or even get sick. So the first time I was unwell with my husband, probably about a year or so after moving in with him, I had one of those 24-hour bug things where your head feels like it's going to explode and you're getting that hot cold temperature thing. And I was bedridden, I couldn't get out of bed, I was just that unwell. And he left me for an entire day. He got up in the morning, saw that I was unwell, got up and just did his stuff, because he's, likes to keep busy. And for the entire day I just lay there with nobody coming and checking on me, seeing if I needed anything. It wasn't until about 5 o'clock somebody else came in to check on me. And I said to them, water, I need water. And that was when hubby came in and gave me water, Panadol, cup of tea. In his case, he'd never lived with anybody before, especially anybody who was unwell or needed any kind of help. And so it didn't dawn on him that you go in and check on anyone. And so he just kind of, left me there. And admittedly later he said that he just thought I needed to sleep, which is true enough. I definitely did. And then the next time I got sick, I had this majorly bad headache. It was like concussion. I couldn't close my eyes or lay down without feeling like I was going to vomit. And so I couldn't sleep, because even if I was sitting sleeping up, anytime I closed my eyes I would feel queasy. So I ended up getting a bunch of towels, putting them in the bathtub, and then laying down on my side in the bathtub and spending the night there. Because then I thought, at least if I'm sick, I'm in the bath. It's no major drama. He gets up in the morning and sees me, and instead of being sort of like sympathetic or something, like, oh my God, did you spend the night in the bathtub? Wow, are you okay? He just kind of comes in and goes, what are you doing in the bathtub? Fair question. I said to him, I'm really unwell, can you go up the street and get me the best, strongest painkiller there is? And so he did. And that's one thing I like about him, is if I ever need anything, he'll just go and get it. He's good like that. He's not very begrudging about that. When he did come back with the medicine and I took it and I slept for hours, that was the thing that begrudged him, because he's like, why are you sleeping all day? Why are you doing stuff? Be action woman, get with it. So that's how sort of sickness is handled by him. He's not particularly good at being the doctor. Ever since then, majority of the times that I've been sick, he's been away for work. So I'm usually here by myself looking after the children and just trying to manage my illness. If I'm bedridden, I'll sort of crawl out of bed to feed them, toast or something basic like that. Or now that they're older, they'll sort of be cooking, noodles and toast for themselves and coming in and giving me water. I did forget to mention that after the very first time that I was sick with my husband and he didn't come in at all, I ended up getting a bell so that I could ring it anytime I needed something. And they're really good at hearing the sound of that bell, so it's come in really, really handy. So now whenever I'm unwell, if I need something, I just ring the bell and somebody will come, and then I can say I need water or Panadol or a cup of tea. My husband, on the other hand, in the 24 years that I've known him, he's been sick twice that I can recall. And both of those times he was sick for like maybe a day, bedridden, sleeping it off, and then he was okay again. And I think both those times he didn't take any time off work because they didn't fall during his working hours. I don't know what he would do if he was sick at work. Would he just come home, or would he work through it? I feel like he would just keep working. But he rarely gets sick. It's so, so rare for him to get sick. And when he does get sick, it's really quick, and he's very stoic about it. A lot of people will say to me, "Oh, does your husband get the man flu?" And I have to be honest, I don't even know what that looks like. I can hazard a guess as to what people mean when they talk about man flu, but I've personally never experienced it. I don't know if that means that they're really sooky. But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, if you're all sort of, "Oh, diddums me, I feel bad, I feel sorry for myself, I'm unwell, please come and look after me," then I'm probably more likely the one to get the man flu. Because I'm very sort of, "I'm sick, please somebody do things for me," so that I don't have to get up and do anything. So I don't know, like in his case, he's just so stoic about it, really good, really easygoing. Doesn't complain, doesn't do the old, "Oh, I feel crap." He's pretty much sleeping it off. And in relation to being sick, my autistic son is really stoic as well. He's very much like, the last time he was sick, for example, I was going in and giving him Panadol and water every 4 hours. And he said to me on the second visit, "Can you not disturb me? Can you stop fussing? Can you stop coming in?" And I said to him, "I need to check on you. I have to make sure you're okay. That your temperature isn't spiking and, you're safe." And he was kind of like, "Oh," And afterwards we talked about it. And for him, it's like you're already dealing with the headache and the hot sweats and the cold sweats and the aching body and, blankets on, blankets off, all that kind of stuff. He just wants to be left alone. He finds that somebody coming in and making a fuss over him adds to the anxiety and the pressure and the stress of being sick in the first place. So for him, he likes 100% just to be left alone, which I think is very similar to my husband. And so what I've concluded from this, with my Psych 101 faux science, complete non-facts, although I think that I'm onto something, but feel free to, share, because I'd love to hear from you and your take on this. However, what I've sort of determined from watching my husband and my son get sick, or rarely get sick, is that, one, I think autistic people have really impressive immune systems. Now, it could just be my husband and my son, but this is my, conclusion. Painting them all under the same brush. Not really, it's just a theory. But I have a theory that they have really high immune systems. I think that there's something about being autistic that just makes you kind of stronger immunity-wise than the average person. Just a theory, as I said. Number two, they have extremely high pain tolerance. They can just handle like awful things happening, sort of thing, like an illness where your temperature spikes, and they're just so stoic and calm and casual about it. Now, of course, you may have an autistic partner who's complete opposite to this. Feel free to drop a comment below. As I said, these are just my theories. And what's the other theory that I've gathered from this? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm a little bit too unwell to have any real sort of thought processes, but that's my take on it. I will also say that I think that because they rarely get sick, and because they don't like to be fussed over when they're sick, they'll tend to be the same with you when you're sick. And that's like most people. Most people will be thinking, well, I like this when this happens, so therefore probably that person does too. And so that's why I say to them, you know, when I'm sick, I really like you to come and look after me. So one thing I was going to also add is that I mentioned before that hubby's always away when I'm sick. And I used to sort of feel sorry for myself because I'd have to be there trying to raise children, doing the housework, cooking and cleaning, getting the kids to school and back and everything like this when I'm kind of on my deathbed. And I used to feel really sorry for myself and wish he was home to help out and take care of me and the children. And then about a year or two ago, he was actually home for the first time ever that I was sick, aside from those 2 earlier times when I was at his house. And he was so begrudging, he was so agitated. I was like, yay, I'm finally going to get looked after. And he was like, oh, could you just not be sick already? We've got stuff to do. It's Saturday cleaning day. Why aren't you up and helping? And I said to him, I'm sick. And he goes, you're always sick. And I suppose compared to him, he's 2 times of being sick in 24 years. My getting sick once or twice a year probably does seem a lot to him. Although in my case, it's because my children come home with bugs. They'll come home and they'll say, hey Mum, I've got you something. Here's some flu or a cold or a chest infection, you know, something. They just give me stuff. Mostly the younger one, who is not on the spectrum. He gets sick more than his brother who is on the spectrum. And he's the one who'll come home, be sick, then I've got it, and then we're both sharing. Sharing is caring. And so that time that I was sick, I thought hubby would look after me and he didn't. And I was a bit sort of like, damn, that didn't work out as expected. This being sick now, and I've been sick for about a week, this is the first time that he's actually looked after me and done it begrudgingly. Sorry, the opposite of begrudgingly. He was fine about it. He was looking after the children, he was cooking, he went up the street to get any kind of food items or medicine or, you know, things like this. Like, I don't know what your remedies are, but I remember being told that if you have a sore throat, potato chips and flat lemonade are good. I'll also do things like Vegemite toast and Milo if I have, say, tonsillitis, which I haven't had for a long time now. So if I need food, he'll just go and get it, or if I need medication or things like this. And he cooked and he put the kids to bed and he looked after them. Mostly everybody stayed away from me, and as they should. You know, I don't want to be passing it on to anybody. So they did kind of leave me to my own sort of devices, but just every now and then came and checked on me and see, you know, do I need anything up the street? So this was the first time that he'd actually taken care of me and the house and the children without a fuss. And that was quite nice, you know. He didn't fuss over me much, which was fine, but he wasn't agitated by it, so I'm really glad about that. Anyway, leave a comment below and let me know when your partner is sick, or even your autistic children. Are they the same as mine? Are they really stoic about it, tough about it? They don't complain much, they're just kind of quiet and just sort of quietly ill, and then they get over it really quickly. And also, are they like my family members where they hardly ever get sick? Leave a comment below and let me know if any of this resonates with you. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video.